Welcome to True Crime Unleashed. What I'm going to be jumping into today is some more on the Devil's Den killer. And not a lot is coming out as far as uh, documents because the ASP, the Arkansas State Police, is trying to keep everything close to the chest because they don't want their investigation to be spoiled or anything like that. So, yeah, we won't hear hardly anything about evidence or anything like that in this case yet until he goes to trial. But this guy really is a sick puppy. Devil's Den murder suspect Andrew James McGann was most standoffish. Elementary school teacher, just pretty disinterested. The teacher accused of murdering a couple as they hiked with their two young daughters at Devil's Den, a state park in Arkansas, was cold and disinterested in his students before he was placed on administrative leave. 2 years ago, parents recalled Andrew James McCann, 28, who authorities say admitted to butchering Clinton David Brink, 43, and wife Kristen Amanda Brink, 41. May they rest in peace. On Saturday, was strange and standoffish in class, said Sarah Markham, whose son was in McGann's fourth grade class. And this is Sierra Markham, who got very bad vibes coming off of Mr. McGann. He was pretty cold. You could ask him a question and he would give you a one-word response. Markham said overall, just pretty disinterested in his students. He was the most standoffish teacher she had ever met, she said. Markham, whose son was in McGann's class at Donald Elementary School in Flower Mound, Texas in 2023, reported some of McGann's behavior to the principal after the boy came home from school upset. She said, eventually he told me that he and some other classmates had noticed that Mr. McGann was very touchy and showed a lot of favoritism to certain girls in the class. Markham said without elaborating. I guess the murder allegations did surprise me because while I thought he was off, I never thought he was violent. McGann was eventually placed on administrative leave from the school in spring of 2023 following concerns related to classroom management, professional judgment, and student favoritism. According to a spokesman for the Louisville Independent School District, an internal investigation found no evidence of inappropriate behavior with students. The school district said McGann is accused of ambushing the parents on the remote trail and stabbing them to death while their daughters, aged 9 and 7, fled to safety and were unharmed. The frightening random attack sparked a 5-day manhunt, ending in McGann being tracked down to a barbershop and arrested mid-haircut. He was charged Wednesday with capital murder. He briefly appeared in court Friday when he was assigned a public defender and ordered held without bail, according to 5 News Online. Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter said he planned to request a no-contact order for the family of the victims if a bond for McGann is eventually set. Investigators are still searching for a motive in the deadly attack. I've been thinking about this. If he's had all these pedophiliac tendencies, towards his students, then maybe the reason why these parents were attacked, he was trying to get at their young children, their young daughters, which I know is sick and morbid and everything else. But this guy screams predator. And I don't understand how he could go from one school district to another. And these red flags being raised in each school district, and he was supposed to begin teaching in Arkansas. Is his pedophiliac tendencies flying under the radar? That's what makes me wonder if he's flying under a radar of being a child predator. And not only is he a child predator, he's now a capital murderer. Communities across Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas are shaken to the core after the arrest of the 28-year-old man from Springdale, Arkansas. It shook me like that's McGann. That's the guy that my kid was around every week at school, said Lindsay Polyak, parent of a student who attended Donald Elementary in Flower Mound, Texas. McGann was arrested while getting his hair cut at an Arkansas salon. Clearly, that's premeditation. He is trying to change his look to where he's not recognized. And it's premeditation because he went into that park, Devil's Den, with a taped up license plate. Like he knew he was going to do something that day. He knew he was going to attack somebody. If it was random, you wouldn't go to the extent of taping up your license plate and then after you do the crime, trying to alter your appearance by getting your hair cut. Police say he's allegedly behind the killings of the Arkansas married couple Clinton, 43, and Kristen, 41, Brink at Devil's Den State Park over the weekend. Tyler Yeakley, an Arkansas native who frequents the park, said it definitely lets you know the craziest things can happen any day out of nowhere, especially in Arkansas. You may be wondering how McGann has ties to Oklahoma. Records show he graduated from OSU Tulsa in the spring semester of 2022 and became a teacher at Donald Elementary in Flower Mound, Texas that fall for the 2022-2023 school year. He then taught for Broken Arrow Public Schools in Sand Springs before moving to Arkansas. Pollock described McGann as a sick pervert. Pollock and another parent, Megan, who asked News 4 to conceal their last name, tell us McGann's behavior was unusual. I've heard from my son that there were girls that Mr. McGann would tickle, Polyak said. Polyak added, I started hearing other things from parents whose kids were in his classroom full-time, allegedly that during lunchtime, when all the kids went to the cafeteria, he would invite special girls to stay back and have lunch with him in his classroom. McGann said parents reported McGann's behavior to Louisville ISD and Donald Elementary staff. Everything just kind of was swept under the rug. Well, if that's the case, why was it swept under the rug? Did they not want um, a dirty little secret getting brought out? Did they not want an investigation into, even though they said they launched an investigation into Andrew McGann? But he resigned. So it just makes you wonder, how a person like this can go from one school district to another school district to another school district, have all these problems in 3 school districts, and then go to Arkansas where he was getting ready to start another teaching job. And before he could start it, he murdered 2 people in Devil's Den State Park that had 2 young girls, 7 and 9.
Manhunt, the suspect in the brutal killings of an Arkansas couple has now been taken into custody.
28-year-old Andrew McGann is now facing 2 charges of capital murder. And we now know he has ties to Oklahoma. News 4's Becca Thompson has been following this and joins us with updates in the investigation. Becca.
Here in Oklahoma, getting his bachelor's of science in elementary education. Today, I spoke with parents from a school where he worked prior, and they say hearing about his arrest has brought a shockwave to their entire community.
It shook me. Like, that's McGann. That's the guy that my kid was around every week at school.
Communities across Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas shook to their core, learning about the arrest of 28-year-old Andrew McGann.
It's definitely eerie.
McGann arrested while getting a haircut at an Arkansas salon, allegedly behind the killings of a married couple hiking at Devil's Den State Park over the weekend.
Definitely makes you know that you never know. Any day, the craziest thing could happen out of nowhere, especially in Arkansas.
So who is McGann and how is he tied to Oklahoma? Records show he graduated from OSU Tulsa, became a teacher at Donald Elementary in Flower Mound, Texas. The year after, taught for Broken Arrow Public Schools and Sand Springs before moving to Arkansas.
This guy was a sick pervert.
Parents of students from Donald Elementary and Flower Mound speaking out, saying McGann's behavior was unusual.
I heard from my son that there were girls that Mr. McGann would tickle. I start hearing other things from parents whose kids were in his classroom full time, alleging that during lunchtime, when all the kids went to the cafeteria, that he would invite special girls to stay back and to have lunch with him in his classroom.
Parents came forward to the district with concerns.
Everything just kind of got swept under the rug.
If he could have just been terminated by our district, that would have been on his record. That would have raised suspicions and questions by the next districts that he went to, but he wasn't.
Pollock says parents received an email about McGann being put on administrative leave prior to him making the decision to resign during the 2022 to 2023 school year. McGann was set to teach at a school in Arkansas this fall, but hadn't made contact with any parents or students.
After a days-long manhunt, the suspect in the brutal killings of an Arkansas couple has now been taken into custody.
28-year-old Andrew McGann is now facing 2 charges of capital murder. And we now know he has ties to Oklahoma. News 4's Becca Thompson has been following.
That's just it. I agree with that one parent. Everything was swept under the rug. Wholeheartedly believe that what this man did there in Flower Mound, Texas, in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, and in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, that school district swept it all under the rug because they didn't want a mark on their school or their school district. And personally, I think it's sick. Like that last parent said, if he would have been fired from the school district, there would have been a mark on his record, and he would have never had a chance to teach again. But this is what it's all about. The Brinks. This man murdered this husband and wife in cold blood. And I'm wondering if the motive wasn't the two young girls, that their 7 and 9-year-old daughters. This is why we do this. We do this for the victims. We do this for the Brinks. But I will tell you this. He has been charged with capital murder, which in the state of Arkansas is the death penalty. I will be sick to my stomach if this monster takes a plea. Because that is not true justice in this case. It's not. He's a failed teacher 3 times over, possibly a 4th in the state of Arkansas, and he murders a husband and wife in Devil's Den State Park. Then, 5-day manhunt. They arrest him trying to, while he's in the process of trying to alter his appearance. If that's not premeditated, I don't know what is, guys. Please leave a like and leave a comment down below on your thoughts about Andrew McGann in this case. Hit the bell notification for all my new uploads. And you guys have a good night. This is True Crime Unleashed. I'm out, guys. Peace.